I hate chants. Oh, I hate chants. It's one of my least favorite things in the whole world. I don't know what this guy's doing. You guys can tell me.
I'm dancing. You ain't gonna do shit. 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 I'm dancing.
What is happening? Bless that man.
But
I don't know what point.
he's not doing anything.
Yeah,
that
he's
guy's
not
dancing.
And that guy's dancing. Those are the facts
Yeah, I mean,
of the situation.
exactly what he was saying is what looks like happened.
Yeah. I think he's trying to provoke a response out of this guy wearing himself a nice,
to be an American.
nice American flag polo shirt he's got going on. Yeah. Okay, here's another clip. This mom is worried about what to tell her young children. Here we go.
What do you want us to do? What do you want us to do at this point? What? I'm lost for words. I don't know what to do. I got 5 boys. I don't know what. I ain't got nothing to tell them no more. You can't walk away no more.
Rest in peace, Trayvon Martin.
Let me ask you this right now.
So the obvious response to this when she doesn't know what to tell her boys is don't stab someone in the chest because they're asking you to move from somewhere that, like, you don't have like a natural inherent right to be there or anything. And even if you think you do, is it worth that to you? Would be my next question. When there's a group of people and they've asked you to leave several times as the team using a tent during a rainstorm or something, I think is what's going on. Like, is it worth it escalating to that moment just out of your own like pride and ego because you said you're not going to move, to stab another high school student in the chest and kill him?
No, it's ridiculous.
So I think she should tell her kids to consider those options and to not kill people simply because they ask you to move from somewhere. Like, this guy's not Rosa Parks or anything, you know. And even she, I don't remember how many people she stabbed to death. Could be a few. No way of knowing. I didn't write that. We don't know for sure. You know, eyewitnesses. You can never trust eyewitness testimony.
You tell your kids that violence is last resort. You know, like
his parents. Like, if you don't follow anything whatsoever with the case, you can't help but have like a natural feeling for the parents of someone who's getting sent away until you realize that they've been like stoking this, you know, white supremacy, racism thing the whole time, that they raised over $600,000 on a GoFundMe or GiveSendGo for defense, and they bought a new house, and his defense was absolutely awful. They called like one witness. Like, the trial was so quick, didn't even put him up on the stand, which is crazy because it's a self-defense case and you should probably explain to people why you thought your life was in danger or something like that.
So by the way, they didn't spend the money on the defense team.
Well, I'm sure they spent some of it, but now in his appeal, he's already appealing. He's asking for a public defender because he doesn't have any money. And this is someone who raised over $600K for defense, for an awful defense. It looks like the attorney did like no prep at all. Almost felt like they were intentionally throwing the case to use that in an appeal, and it's like not having adequate defense, you know? Like, that's how bad it was, or how bad it seemed to be. Here's some of what they have to say.
My son didn't intend to hurt anyone. My son was defending himself.
Take us inside that courtroom. What stuck out to you?
What stuck out to me, number one, was the all-white jury. But I was trying to be, you know, like, all right, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, the truth is on our side.
At the sentencing hearing, the defense called only one witness on Anthony's behalf, his mother, Kayla Hayes. What did you tell the jury?
She was the only witness.
To have mercy on my son.
What do you say to his grieving family?
It's unfortunate to where nobody wins. We've all been hurt by this. Everybody.
That poor boy is fixing to experience a life that I would not wish upon anyone.
Austin Metcalf's father, Jeff, called Anthony's sentencing.
So that is, Austin Metcalf's father. We'll hear this maybe several times. There was not an all-white jury. There weren't any black people on the jury. But there are other races of people. They do exist. There's other people out there. It's not just it's not just white and black. You got Mexicans, you got Asians or Indians or some, I don't know what's going on there. But it wasn't all white. What they mean by all white jury is just that there weren't any black people on the jury, which is interesting because basically
hang on, that would be the defense lawyer's job to make sure that during jury selection you get a couple black people on there.
Like if you want to have like an OJ situation where the people don't care what the facts of the case are, they're just trying to get some kind of racial justice or something, which is basically what they're arguing. Like, oh, if we would have had some blacks on that jury, they would have completely disregarded the case and just not sent him to prison because they know about slavery or something. And so they would have been totally fine with this and not give him a guilty conviction. Like that's kind of what they're arguing here, which is crazy. This is a pretty crazy system where you just kind of give it up to 12 randos, But what are you going to do? I mean, that's like the best thing here's Cardi B hosting the Twitter space or an X space. Let's see what she has to say.
I sure learned something from this. I learned to tell my sons, if a white boy, do not argue with no white boys. Because, baby,
what?
Ain't no law protecting you if something goes down with them. That's what I learned from this case. I'm going to tell my sons, if you argue with a white boy, walk the fuck away. Because the law don't protect you.
You actually can't argue with a white boy. I want to just state for the record, it is possible to argue.
Is she saying lure? The lure?
I don't know, man.
What's a lure?
Maybe she's in Australia at the time. Just throwing some R's there.
I tell my boys, the lure. The lure ain't going to protect you.
No, you can't actually have arguments with people. And when you start, I mean, this has been said by several people that he put his hand in his bag and said, touch me and see what happens. And as soon as he was touched, like at that time, he's already probably putting his hand on a knife, not showing everyone he has a knife, but putting his hand on a knife and like ready to stab someone if someone touches him because he wants to stay in this tent. I'm like, you can have an argument. He didn't have an argument. He immediately resorted to stabbing someone in the chest.
Yeah.
But some people just can't see past that. They've literally decided.
Unfortunately, stabbing someone in the chest is against the lure. Okay.
Against the lure. Okay. I didn't know this the R thing we were talking about. Let's see what else we got here.
For black people, how many motherfucking decades and decades have to?
I think earmuffs on this section. Maybe that went without saying. I hope it did, but like earmuffs on this section, please.
Go by where you don't receive that. Your justice is fucking frontier justice. They kill one of y'all, you kill one of them. Our toughest soldiers ain't gonna do shit.
I don't really know what he's talking about.
I'm talking to you.
He's talking to you, though. Pay attention.
You ain't gonna do shit but kill up on your own.
Okay, so what
was that?
We got. I think that is a fair question.
They all for killing that white boy. See, they not used to this shit happening to them, y'all. My only problem is it should happen more. This is where I'm fucking up. This is where I got a problem with my people. It should happen more. We should make a day like every Thursday.
Every Thursday?
Or every Wednesday where we just wake up and fuck up a white girl or a white boy.
A day every week?
A little girl smack the shit out of her. Little boy smack the shit out of him. Old lady, white, whatever. We should set up a day once a week where we just fuck them up, y'all. Until they go back to the mountains. Yeah, let's set a day where we just fuck them up. Oh, this cuz we wake up, we yawn, we brush our teeth, we wash our face, and we go outside and we just fuck them up. First, that's how we gotta start getting our day started. Can we please pick a day where we just fuck them white people up? Just beat their ass, especially the old ones. Just beat their ass, the kids, Just beat their ass. Everybody, get in the comments. Let's set up a day where we just we're national fuck white people every day. Seriously, we just beat them up. Just walk up to them and be shit's about to change whether they know it or not. They talking all this shit online, this racist shit, but the reality, they gonna have to get out here with us in a minute. And boy, I can't wait the day we beat the fuck out these crackers. They don't stand a chance. I just can't wait to take these hands. Oh, it's about to be soon. Good job, y'all. Let's set a day where we do that to their kids more. I hope their kids right.
Okay, well, that's enough.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
It seems like I could just sit down and have a conversation with this guy. Yeah, they're dealing with rational human beings.
Very rational.
Yeah.
Great thought process. You know what we should do? Let's set up something where a bunch more black people get put in prison.
When people are racist, I try to be like, look, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying here. I'm saying sometimes it's hard to tell other people, like, no, they're not like that.
You're not going to be racist.
No.
But what you're saying
I hear
is
other people, and
when
I'm
you're
like, no,
outreaching and you're saying, listen, you're being racist and you should stop, you're having less and less incentive to have that conversation with
a guy
people.
like
That's
this,
what you're saying.
and it's all individuals.
Yeah, I mean, we're taking a sample size.
Yes.
Out of all the crowds and the people we're playing right now, we're going to sample like 15 people total today.
This guy, he's like just saying out loud, like, I am the stereotype. Like,
he's also saying, I am racist. I am what I'm accusing other people of being.
Exactly. No, he's saying, like, when you walk past me on the street, like, you should clutch your purse.
Yeah.
You should duck a little or, keep an eye out.
Because
he's actively saying, like, especially if it's Thursday. I guess it's Thursdays for this
or
guy.
Wednesday.
It's a Thursday and you're, like, in the grocery store and this guy comes up or whatever. You should probably maybe flinch or be on the defensive. Because he's actively saying, like, it's his goal just to, like, beat yo ass. Whatever yo ass is.
Yeah.
And if you got kids with you, he's going to take them out too, I guess.
And
if your grandma
is
there, he's going to put her in the hospital, I guess.
All to fight racism. Like, you know what I'm going to do? Yeah. Anyone who I see that's white is guilty of the things that I think have been wrong in society. The thing I think that's been wrong in society is that people treated all black people like there was something wrong with them and like they were lesser than. And I'm a good person. I'm going to find random white people I know nothing about how they've lived their lives or how they treat people, and I'm just going to beat them up because simply they're white, and that's how we're going to stop racism.
Especially if they're buying crackers. I think he said something about crackers.
That must be what he was talking about. Yeah.
So don't be outside eating crackers.
Yeah. Don't do that.
This guy.
No, it's too dangerous. Here's Jasmine Crockett.
Which I wasn't at the trial because.
All right, hold on.
Are broken.
Well, some people might say, why?
Are broken. And what we saw with that verdict is the evidence of a broken system. Now listen, from everything that I understand, which I wasn't at the trial because obviously I got a day job, but it's my understanding that Karmelo ended up stabbing, puncturing, I don't know what this tool was that they talk about, knife, or some referred to it as a tool.
It's a knife.
He ended up hitting Austin one time, and it was about where he hit him. One time, 2 inches. This wasn't someone who said, hey, let me stab you 5, 6, 7 times. And so when you're looking at the punishment range, there's a reason in Texas that it goes from 5 to 99 or life, because you are looking at how intentional, like how bad was this? 35 years for a kid who had decided to go under a tent that was not his team's tent as it was raining, and simply didn't want to be put out in the rain by some random kid that he didn't know who was larger than him. Listen, a lot of people don't know what it is to live as a black person in this country, but just like you can give the benefit of the doubt to so many police officers when they go out and they shoot some black unarmed person, even though they are trained, the fact that there was little to no mercy seen or humanity seen when this black boy said that I was scared, or the fact that honestly anybody...
I think there was mercy to him. Like, he murdered someone and he got 35 years, and he's got parole in 17. And he's 17, and so he could potentially get out when he's 35 years old, 34 years old, whatever actual age he is now. So that's the mercy. Now, that's probably one of her more measured responses. Let's get some more here with the.
Is this unmeasured?
Oh, I don't know. Those glasses are unmeasured. Someone screwed that up. Let me tell you, I hate when people wear big, obnoxious glasses.
If a 300-pound man is beating me, like on top of me and beating me down, I'm not.
Is this an analogy for the situation? What?
If a 300-pound man is on top of you and beating you down, you have permission to stab him.
Yeah.
That is self-defense.
Yeah.
In that scenario.
Let's
put it to fist. You know, I would argue that even the only time we go into things like people's hands being considered deadly weapons is typically like if they're a professional boxer or that kind of stuff. But I think by the time you start getting to like football player, good argument. Good freaking argument. We're not talking about like the golfers. We're talking about football players, right? Like this is what they are trained to do, is to inflict like serious physical contact. And it's my understanding that the decedent was that if a 300-pound man.
Okay. Yeah.
So why are we telling the story about a 300-pound man being on top of you, beating you, and like, so you could react in that? That's not the situation at all. And that's like part of the misinformation that's,
by the way. So for those of you out there thinking, I can't do it.
She's out though, right? Or she's on her way out, right? Or did she
lose?
Well, she ran for, she tried to get the Senate nomination.
She was like, man, this running
Texas
every 2 years sucks.
Got beat by that Tallarico guy.
Okay.
I don't know if that means she's gone from the House afterwards. I didn't see if she's like was running for election for, or like has a fallback where she's going to be the nominee or whatever for her House. So here's a little bit more.
Black women, especially Black women who have Black male children, live in fear and agony every single day. A fear and agony that I promise you, the Metcalfs probably never spent a day living that way.
Yeah, but
he's dead.
He's the one who's dead.
Right.
He's dead. How do you make these arguments afterwards? Like the Metcalfs, he's dead.
He died.
And there's, I know she's referencing like the Black women with Black male children live in fear and agony. Like, what's the percentage chance that they're going to get killed by a white guy? That they're going to get beat to death by a white guy? Like, of the people, Black male, young, like teens or 20s or whatever, who get murdered or who die at some kind of violent death, what's the percentage of like getting killed by white guys who ask them to move out of a chair or getting killed by Black guys?
It's like 10 times higher.
It's gotta be. I don't know what the
guy.
numbers are. I didn't pull in any numbers today, but it's so crazy because in like this grievance, victimization, victimhood culture, these people are all worried about that just getting picked off by white people all the time and never talk about the fact that it's probably 90% or more are Black people killing other Black people. Like if you're worried about your kid dying, that's statistically, that's what's going to happen. But you're only worried about the little tiny sliver because you can turn it into like this big racial grievance and at the end of the day ask for reparations or something like that. I don't know.
And look, I'm not saying that certain
is.
things don't happen to individuals. That's absolutely true. But like, look, if you, for the most part in America, if you do the right things, like you grow up and you like do things the right way, and you're not being violent and stuff, like you're going to be just fine. Doesn't matter what color you are, but if you're doing drugs, shooting at police officers and, involved in gangs and stuff or whatever, like more likely you're not going to have, a good life, or if you make a vow that if someone touches you, you're just going to stab them. It's like, well, more than likely you're probably not going to have a very good life. It's never occurred to me that I'm a big believer in self-defense. And there was a time I used to have a gun, not anymore.
No, you lost it. Mm-hmm.
There was a time I thought once so far that I've been carrying for a long time, There's been one time where I thought I might need to use it, but never had to. And so I'm a big believer in self-defense. But out of all the interactions I've ever had in my life, there's never been a time where I'm like, if that guy touches me, I'm going to stab him or shoot him or whatever the case is. Like, it just doesn't, I don't understand how that crosses someone's mind.
Yeah. I don't understand how you get to that point either.
I mean, you and I have been friends for how long now? 20, is it like 25 years? 20 years.
Let's just call it 20.
And we've gotten in arguments as friends, you know?
Yeah.
Like, not once have I ever like put my knife on the table and been like, you know?
Yeah.
Say that one more time.
Thought about it plenty of times. Just never happened. All right, let's move through some more stuff here. We're over half an hour on this subject so far.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Here's a Dallas attorney with some great thoughts.
First and foremost, the one thing that I would ask for people to do at this moment is pray for the Anthony family, because they have been legally lynched for the last year. And
what?
More so by this slaughterhouse of a courthouse, as well as the family of the Metcalfs. So the energy right now is very white supremacy. They have shown up to be the pigs that they display with hate. They are celebrating the loss of life and the loss of freedom. So that's the energy. We have a devastated family.
That talking about the Metcalf family celebrating the fact that the kid who murdered their son is going to prison for up to 35 years. And so they're now the family.
It didn't seem like the dad was celebrating.
Is
said this
celebrating the loss of life.
That was celebration
for the
what was their
Anthony
celebration?
Family.
Did they like pop balloons and stuff? I mean,
I'm not sure.
All
All
right,
right, let's
popping champagne bottles outside the courtroom after this.
See if she's got anything else in here worthy of our disdain.
So that's the energy. We have a devastated family who didn't know that they was going to have to let their son go back into a holdover because we have an overzealous prosecutor who lied throughout this trial, who put on liars as witnesses in order to be a saving grace for the white community so that they can win an election. That's what it feels like right now.
We already see the prosecutor make clear that he wants.
Okay.
What?
Yeah. Did you pick up all that? Because
something about the pigs are on display
for the hate
and this devastated family
supremacy
is celebrating.
I'll tell you what,
illegal lynching.
I already pulled up a clip.
Mr. Madison, what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Oh. That's what I thought of immediately after after hearing that nonsense that happened there. There is a bunch of other dumb stuff associated with this, all kinds of stuff. People posting online. Karmelo had a legal right to be under that tent. His utility blade was legal. He had a legal right to defend himself from the assault. He actually didn't because he instigated the situation. He provoked the situation to happen. And so you don't have a legal right. Right. Yeah, I mean, it's just someone, you know, under legal definition, if there was nothing provoked or instigated or whatever, you probably can claim someone assaulted you when they, like, if they try to push you. I'm just saying legally, you probably can claim that because it's stupid.
Yeah, but
you know,
you're in my house. This is my tent.
Yeah.
You know, now look, I'm not saying that you should not allow people to get out of the rain or whatever, but like, man, I was taught as a kid when you're in sports, like it's a battlefield. It's a battle court.
Yeah.
You know, you don't help the other team up. You know, your job is to beat them down in a sportsmanlike manner, you know? And so it's like, hey man, go get your own tent. This is my team.
Yeah.
You know, like
I don't know if he was on the opposing
you're kind of
team,
in my house,
you know,
here.
but yeah, I get what you're saying. I do still, well,
like that was the assault. I mean,
that's the assault. Yeah. Like they asked him to move and
no, I'm not, maybe that was unkind of him to do that. Like, you know, maybe you should have let someone get out of the rain potentially,
you
but
know.
that's not a crime to say, hey man, can't be under my tent. Go get your own tent.
It's not. It shouldn't be. And we got a little bit more here from Donna Murray Robinson, who hopefully is unemployed pretty soon. Comment on Facebook says, you are exactly right. I am a parole supervisor at Texas DCJ. Karmelo will be okay. Just, you know, says she's been working on the Board of Pardons and Parole in Texas for 11 years.
It's Department of Corrections Juvenile, I think, DCJ.
Karmelo will be okay. I can almost assure you he will be protected on the inside. I, for one, don't give an F about the family's loss. It's about time these effing bigots feel the pain that they have inflicted on other groups of people since the beginning of time. I'm just glad we didn't have to bury another black child. Let them start burying some of theirs for a change. F them, I said what I said.
All right, well.
Fired. Immediately. Okay, that's number one. Dumb reactions to the guilty verdict of that trial. Some of this stuff we made fun of a little bit yesterday, but we did a show yesterday talking about how stuff wasn't going well with the Iran war. Trump was threatening to take Carg Island, threatening a major escalation. And then I felt dumb. There was 30 seconds where I was like, oh man, that's embarrassing. Because right after we finished the show, Trump posted this out on Truth Social. And I was like, dang it, that's ridiculous. It says, based on the fact that discussions with the Islamic Republic of Iran have been brought to the highest level of Iranian leadership and approved, I have, as President of the United States of America, canceled the scheduled strikes and bombings against Iran this evening. Discussions and final points have been, in both concept and great detail, approved by all parties involved. There's all the parties involved. The naval blockade will remain in full force and effect until this transaction is finalized. Time and place of the signing to be announced shortly. Cernovich says Trump won the war. He could have been joking with that, honestly, knowing him. We get all these posts about details of the deal. And then we have a clip here of Trump talking about it. And listen, this being a Trump thing could very well be real or could very well be completely made up. We'll see. Here's him talking about it.
It's okay. That doesn't bother me at all. We just made a great settlement of the war with Iran, and we're going to be subject to finalization of documents, which should get done over the next few days. Probably have a signing maybe in Europe, and it's a great thing. Stock market's up 1,000 points. That means they like the deal. See, that means they like, if the market goes down, that means they don't like the deal. But it's been up, oil's dropped. Oil will start coming down to, I think, even lower than it was before. I said I was in Iowa. It was...
He seems very tired. If I were in his close inner circle, I would recommend that he get some more sleep. He's one of these guys who I would imagine maybe gets a solid 2 hours and maybe like some napping in between Truth Social posts, and he just does seem like he needs to get a little bit of sleep. I would recommend, especially for like an 80-year-old man. It's time to start kind of resting your brain every once in a while. You know, he's running on pure aspartame right now, and I just I don't think it's going well for him on that. He looks very tired. Anyway, then we get posts saying Iran directly rejects Trump's new claim that he reached an agreement to cancel tonight's strikes on Iran as baseless, saying no agreement has been approved at all, and all of Trump's words should be disregarded like all his previous 38 times deal imminent announcements over 2 months, per one of the news agencies there out of Iran. Iran's foreign ministry directly rejects Trump's new claim that everyone in Iran has approved the deal, including the supreme leader. But today we're back to, we are really close on at least a memorandum of understanding. I believe someone out of Iran actually said that it's never been closer. Now, this is just the memorandum of understanding. It's not the actual deal that they're close on that. Or we're going to have more bombs this weekend, or we're going to have a peace deal, or we have no idea. So that's exactly where we are with this war right now. There was this funny clip.
We don't know. Until the signing happens, we don't know.
Yeah, we just don't know is the actual answer. This little debate clip here with Gavin McInnes is pretty crazy. I guess it's between, is it Owen Schroyer that's on here? He is flipping out. This show. I saw that redheaded libertarian Josie and Clint Russell were just on it. It looks like my absolute worst nightmare. It's one of these things where I can't handle more than 10, 15 seconds at a time.
You just get all anxious.
It's like Piers Morgan's show, only in person. And it just, yeah. Here they're talking about the war and what would lead him to not be MAGA anymore.
Oh, boy. If this becomes a war, then I'm off the Trump train. If
how
we
is
do
it?
Something
What
stupid,
what are
like,
the metrics?
You fucking give me a chance.
But what are the metrics of a war, Gavin?
I'm not talking if you interrupt me again.
Well, you can't just say.
Yes, I can. Of course I can.
So what is a war?
I'm allowed to say a thing.
Tell me what is a war.
Don't tell me what I can't fucking say.
Tell me what.
Let me say my sentence for fuck's sake.
What is a war?
Shut the fuck up for 2 seconds, Owen.
Let him answer.
Jesus Christ, man. So right now, and again, there's been no action for a month. That's not a war. There's a standoff going on. And you guys are already calling it a war and leaving after 15 American
Trump
casualties.
called it a war.
Well, it's not. He's wrong.
Okay. That's how MAGA he is.
Yeah.
What if it doesn't work then? What happens?
It could be the biggest success, the biggest brilliant chess move in the history of America.
Every president thinks they can win this bet, and not one of them has.
Oh, God. Oh, I can't handle stuff like that. It's too much. It's just too much.
You just turn and look the other way.
I had a rant by Mark Levin, but we're going to skip it just for time and move on to making fun of Mike Johnson. Hey, good thing they didn't get that FISA extension. So that's good. But the world is ending, and there's probably going to be a terrorist attack this weekend. I think is what's going to happen. So let's see.
Saw what happened on the floor, but it is shameful and it is very, very dangerous. Let me just tell you what's happened here.
Shameful, first off. Shameful.
That they cannot collect your data.
That they can collect it. They're not even talking about whether or not they can collect it. They're talking about whether or not they're going to have to get a warrant to access what has been collected. That's what they're talking about. That's how far the slippery slope of what is shameful has moved. Like, we're just, okay, they're still going to collect your stuff. Are they going to have to get a warrant before they can access it, is what we're talking about. And it is shameful to expect the government to have to get a warrant before accessing your data that they already have. It's crazy.
Today, we just...
And dangerous.
Offered...
This is why 9/11 happened.
A simple, clean 3-week extension of the FISA national security law. The Democrats, 199 of them, voted against a clean 3-week extension for political purposes. And when the bill went down, they applauded. They applauded it. That record and that video is going to live in infamy. I pray that we do not have a serious calamity on our shores over the next few weeks. We have done...
Just so you know, they're like grandfathered in to still be able to do everything they've been doing for at least a year. Like, it's not like all of a sudden they just stop this weekend. There's a period of time where they can still do it. And by the way, they would still do it.
They would still do it anyway. How are you going to find out?
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. All that matters here is we're talking about a warrant requirement. So if someone bravely wanted to go after someone for not getting the warrant someday in the future, then they could do that. But there's still like a year that they can keep doing it, even with this extension not happening. And this is just like the panic. They got to keep you living in fear. Like, that's the whole thing. If you're afraid, you'll give up your rights. That's just how it is. You got to be afraid of something, and you'll trade.
I'm surprised you didn't say, God forbid, maybe a five 9/11s takes place.
How many 9/11s is it? I forgot about measuring things in 9/11s. We got to do that. Okay, that was number 3. Here's number 4. We've only got a few left. We're going to speed run these things. There's a clip from Trump concerning inflation. Personally, I don't think it's as bad as everyone said it is, but it's not great. He should really stop pre-recording campaign ads for Democrats, but he's still doing that. Here's the clip that happened yesterday.
Sure, the right people come into our country.
Are you going to go to campaigns?
I will.
I
will.
Are you concerned, Mr. President, about the latest inflation number which came out this morning? Could that be a
No, I
headwind
love it.
for
The
Republicans
numbers were
in terms of
great.
trying to hold
You know what I
up the
really
House
love?
and the Senate?
I love the inflation. You know why? Because as soon as this war is over, you know, I can say it now. Something you didn't know. Do you know we've been taking out millions of barrels of oil? Nobody knows it. You know who does?
Okay, so the clip that everyone talked about there is that no, I love the inflation numbers. I love it.
Because I'm going to be able to
good.
say it's going to go down.
He loves it because he thinks it can go back down really easily. And what I would suggest is it'd be better to be in a world where it didn't go up so you could take it back down. It's like, why would you want to raise it? You know? And like, well, because it looks cool when I lower it, I guess, is what he's aiming for. I love the inflation number. That's just not good to pre-record Democrat campaign ads for them, you know? He's making stuff real cheap. But at the same time, I have to make fun of some Democrats here. I saw people passing this around all over the place, and it's a real issue that people should look at, but it's wage growth versus inflation. So wage growth versus price growth. And what we've seen is the last year-over-year numbers for the last couple months, inflation has outpaced wages. And that's not good. And I saw, every major Democrat you can name reposting this thing, every influencer page reposting this thing, talking about Trump. And
Now
okay,
they're experts on economics.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but
What happened back there in
I know
2022?
I'm not going to forget. And no one else should forget either. First off, the craziest thing I realized, and I posted out, I think people took the wrong way, but I didn't see one of them blaming corporate price gouging for the high prices. None of them. Miraculously, which, okay, fairly true, miraculously, it's not corporations being greedy right now. It's the guy in the Oval Office that's causing all these prices to go up, and not just purely that corporations have all decided at the same time to raise prices on things. And so that's interesting to hear from a bunch of the Democrats. The other thing is they're getting, I posted out, no matter how much I disagree with Trump's policies, it's really funny to watch Democrats get upset about one of these photos. And here's one photo while Biden was in office. This is inflation spiking up over the growth of wages during this period of time. Well over a year happened that inflation was outpacing wages. And no, that's fine. They're freaking out about this one right here under Trump. You see how that inflation is outpacing the wage growth? That's real bad. This is real bad right here. Now, listen, I don't like either one of them, but I can be fair about it. I can call out both of them and point out what was being wrong to cause those things to happen. It just sucks when people just on party
I look
lines.
at something like that and say that's not good.
No.
Yeah.
You like it when it's down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you want the blue one to be up.
Yes.
You want the orange one to be down.
Yeah. Change the colors.
Yeah, that's what we need. Okay, let's make fun of Illinois real quick. Remember Illinois when we used to live there?
I tried to block that from my
That's
memory.
crazy, right? It's pretty wild. They just adopted a new tax. Can you imagine? They got this new tax. They never saw something that they didn't want to tax. It's crazy.
Thought the last time they taxed
just more
gasoline,
their
that
gas
it was going to be
tax is
enough.
crazy. You thought that was going to solve the problem?
Yeah.
Was the gas tax?
And then the registration fees in the cars, those went up. I thought that was going to solve a lot of their problems.
Their property taxes are crazy. And it just the one thing
the
they've held
problem's
on
not solved yet.
No, that's
okay.
It's an issue. So a nearly $56 billion state spending plan is headed to J.B. Pritzker's desk after the Democratic-controlled legislature approved it in the early morning hours of another overtime spring session. The biggest source of new revenue is a new per-user tax on social media companies. So they're going to tax social media companies. Pritzker hopes to raise $200 million per year from this scheme. But there are issues. One of the main issues with this scheme is no one can figure out how the heck they're actually going to do it. They just have decided that they're going to tax, and they've said this is how much money they're going to make off of it. As passed, the budget plan imposes a tax on social media companies based on the average number of monthly users of the platform located in the state of Illinois. So platforms with 1 to 500,000 Illinois users will have to pay 10 cents per user each month. 500,000 to a million shall pay 40,000 plus 25 cents per month per user. Platforms over a million will pay 165K plus 50 cents per user per month. One might a big question I have is why? Like, why tax this? Why decide that this is a source of revenue that you can somehow, like, typically in a tax, like in a thing like this, where it's not even clear what kind of revenue is being generated to do like an income tax or whatever on a business, you're typically taxing things that you don't like a sin tax kind of thing. Not like syntax. I don't hear anything like syntax. I'm talking about, sin, like the bad one.
Yeah, not like coding.
Yeah, not coding, syntax. I'm not even sure what or why they're taxing here, and no one really is. A provision adjusts the tax for inflation starting in 2028. That's good. Companies that fail or refuse to pay will be punished with a fee of an amount equal to 100% of the unpaid fee and any penalties each month until the fee is paid. Okay, so that's great. They can't define what a user is. It's not defined in the law. Does that mean an account owner that is in the state? Does that mean someone who passes through the state and is using, and their IP address or whatever says that they're in Illinois at the time that they were using it? Like I go up to see my family a couple weekends a month, and does that mean that I'm an Illinois user and they should get taxed based on me being there using it in the state of Illinois? What if you have multiple profiles? What if you have business pages? You got your page, you got the secret page your wife doesn't know about, you got all that stuff. Like, are they going to have to pay like per page that they have, or figure out what exact people are running these pages? Nobody knows.
If a person uses multiple platforms owned by the same company?
That's true.
Facebook, Instagram, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, all owned by Meta.
Did it say per platform in there, or just per use? Huh. Okay. Well, I guess Meta, maybe it's going to be a tax for Meta and take all their users. I don't know. Let's see. I just explained this one right there. Of course, they can't account for shifting IP addresses, VPNs, can't nail down people's physical locations. Said it also has a sloppy definition of social media platform, which it defines as a website or internet medium that permits a person to become a registered user, establish an account, or create a profile for the purpose of allowing users to create, share, and view user-generated content through that account or profile. That captures Facebook, LinkedIn, and all that stuff. It could also scoop up, it says, review sites, messaging services, email services, different publishing platforms, stuff like that. Listen, Illinois state government is retarded, basically all of them. Like almost every single one of them.
This would be like taxing cigarette companies on the number of smokers in the state.
The number of smokers.
Yes.
Yeah. They're like, I don't know. One? Is it one?
And what defines a smoker? Somebody who smokes a pack a day? Somebody who has a cigarette when they're drinking?
No,
I only smoke when I drink.
That guy and secondhand smoking counts too. That's what Illinois would say. We want to account for all the secondhand smokers too.
I only smoke when I drink.
All right, so
problem is I drink all the time.
As we speed run these things, yes, Illinois is dumb. They've never met a single thing that they don't want to tax. They are destroying the people who live there. Chicago might be doing relatively fine, but that state is basically based off of whether or not Chicago can handle a new policy, and completely ignores the rest of the people who live in the state because they don't care. Because as long as people win the city of Chicago or the county of Cook County, you can be in power in Illinois. And so all the policies are basically built off of whether or not Chicago can handle this policy. And what they don't understand is, sure, Chicago's got tourist destination, business, stuff like that. People in the southern part of the state, you got to consider, why would you move there when you're an hour away from either Missouri, Kentucky, or Indiana? You know, like right where my mom, it may be an hour and a half or something from all three of those states. Why would you go to Illinois at that point? Why would you go to that part of Illinois and not just go to Kentucky or Missouri or Indiana at that point? The answer is the people running the state don't care. That's the actual answer. They're annoyed by the question, and they literally don't care because they're all just in Chicago all the time. That's all they care about, except for when they're forced to be in Springfield. Okay, number 6. People are upset. What's SpaceX price at right now?
175.
Ooh.
What's up?
How about that?
Looks like some people are getting some massive orders filled.
Are they?
At 150, 156. You see the little spike downs.
Yeah.
So those are all happening within a millisecond.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
That
175.
That brings us to number 6 right now. An article from the Globe and Mail, I believe a Canadian paper, I'm pretty sure. The title, SpaceX is set to make Elon Musk the first trillionaire. Here's how to properly hate him. Very professional publication here. I'll read a little bit of this. Now that the SpaceX initial public offering is making Elon Musk all but officially the world's first trillionaire, that's why I was asking about the price. I believe as long as it stays above 139, he's a trillionaire. Of course, that also kind of depends on what Tesla does on the
Tesla
day, too.
doing? They're up 1.2%.
But now I think 250 or 280 billion of his wealth is from Tesla, and it's like 700 billion now just from SpaceX or more now, I guess. So it's pretty crazy. They ask, is it okay to despise him just for being a trillionaire? To broaden the question, are the billionaires associated with widening inequality a bad look for capitalism? I want to get to where they talk about the poker game here. It's a lot easier to subscribe to Geconomics when you view capitalism as a poker game where there's no guarantee that one player won't end up with all the chips. That's an unequal outcome, but it's not an unfair one as long as everyone plays by the rules. Indeed, an unequal distribution of the chips would be unfair if one talented player deserves to win. Oh, sorry, an equal distribution would be unfair if one talented player deserves to win them all. There's a real big issue with this analogy that we use, like in the second paragraph of this article, is that the economy is not a poker game where everyone sits down with chips and whoever plays the best ends up with all of them and all the other people end with none.
Right.
That is, it's like a new look on the fixed pie fallacy.
There's more chips being created.
There are more chips. Amazingly, magically, there are more chips being created as the game goes on. And people can only seem to view it in this fixed pie or a poker table analogy. And they just don't understand that literally more chips get created. More chips got created today that did not exist beforehand. They kind of technically existed because we knew what the valuation was on SpaceX and we knew that they were going to open at $135 a share. That's what they were doing their IPO at. But now it's trading and there's a whole bunch of new money that existed. It's just there. It's there.
Yeah.
I don't know how to tell you. It wasn't there before. Let's see. The weakness in the tax on the extreme wealth is their focus on the what's fair, how things should be, rather than the consequential. Jeff Bezos's $500 million yacht and $75 million support vessel are obscene. Well, they're not obscene to Bezos or a lot of other people. And where is it written that he has no right? It's unfair that the richest 1% of the U.S. holds 32% of the wealth and the bottom half holds 2.5%. Unequal, to be sure, but strictly speaking, equality of outcome has nothing to do with the fairness of the game. They're actually like not being totally insane in the paper. They're kind of or in this article, they're kind of asking some questions like that's not immediately unfair. I also want to point out the richest 1% of the U.S. holds 32% of the wealth because them having the ownership of those things is what created the wealth in the first place. A good way to consider it is not like what happens if Elon Musk sells all of his stock. Here's a good question. What happens if Elon Musk, God forbid, dies today? Like people who want to talk about taking Musk's $1 trillion and solving whatever thing that the government hasn't solved with $7 trillion every single year, but whatever they're going to solve with $1 trillion taken from Elon Musk. What happens if he dies today? And you're like, well, yeah, I believe in, death tax and estate tax. You take that and put it in the government. Okay. The problem is if he died right now, it would all be gone. It'd all disappear. He would still own the same amount of shares of those companies, but it would go down to a floor valuation on all those companies. Because the reason that wealth exists, the reason the number is what it is because it is in the hands of Elon Musk. Any other company that decided it was worth $1.77 trillion at IPO would have immediately tanked as soon as it opened. This is only continuing right now it's probably over 2 trillion by now. It's probably close to 2 trillion by now. This is only continuing because Elon Musk is involved with the company. He creates that value just by being him and doing the things that he does. If he died today, it would evaporate. No one would get any of it. The number would just disappear. That's what would happen.
It's not money.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's really
People,
not.
Like, let's just take SpaceX, for example. Like, if you look at, let's say, analysis, like the analysts and what they're saying is like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, they all believe that SpaceX is going to have revenues of $3 to $4 to $5 trillion a year, like revenue, like actual money coming in the door of that amount of money by 2040, I believe. So that's what that's what the value is considered. Like, so by the way, if you've never started a company, I have a couple of them, but if you've never started a company or raised money, the one thing that you have to remember, or not remember, but the one thing that happens is that you come to people with an idea and you say, hey, here's what we think that we could grow this thing into. And we believe that it is worth this much. This thing that we are going to create has this much value. Do you believe us? Most people say, no, we don't believe you. Some people are like, yeah, we believe you. And then they invest at that valuation. Once they invest, when you establish a round and they invest at that valuation, now that company, that thing, whatever you're creating, has that valuation. It doesn't mean it's made that much money, but there are people in the market who say, okay, I'm going to give you this much because I believe it's worth this much. And I believe it can go a heck of a lot higher than that.
Once they say that on paper, the company becomes worth that much, really, on paper. But it doesn't mean that money technically exists.
Exactly.
And that's what the case for a ton of the wealth for these people. They go on to make the argument that the problem really with this inequality, because you might be able to call it fair, is that these people are able to buy power in the government, something that we've been talking about quite a lot. Most importantly, concentrated wealth means concentrated political party that tends in a self-reinforcing cycle to exacerbate economic inequality. James Madison warned 240 years ago against the indefinite accumulation of property and the implied imbalance of political influence. The eminent jurist, let's see, we may have democracy or we may have wealth concentrated in the hands of a few, but we cannot have both. The issue with, they go on to talk about, okay, here's the issue. He donated $250 million to Trump. And it's the problem with Elon Musk having this much money, is that he came in with power in the government and no one voted for that. My first response is, yeah, they did. That's literally what I voted for. And I'm upset that that promise was broken because I voted almost literally for Elon Musk to be making the decisions in our government right now.
Right.
If it weren't for him coming on board, I don't think I would have taken the time to go vote. But yeah, that is actually what I voted for, and that's what a lot of people probably voted for. The thing is, it's still up to the people to decide, like, whether or not these people are giving money, the politicians and all that. And I understand that it's bad. those politicians are still not supposed to do things that are against what's in the constitutional bounds for them. And when they do that, the legislators, like if you're talking about people in the executive branch, they're supposed to be checked by the people in the legislature. And if the legislature doesn't do that job, it's still the job of the people to remove those people. And the people have just become really lazy and complacent or complicit because they want the payouts also. They want handouts from other people. And it's not just that rich people have been buying elections or whatever. It's that the people have decided that it's not really that important, I guess. Although the government has so much power, it is absolutely important who's running it. It shouldn't be important who's running these levers of power, but it absolutely is. We don't have time to read the entire article because I needed to leave 17 minutes ago.
Uh-oh.
Which means it's time to go get some votes in. That's what we should do. We should go and we should vote. All right. Number one, the response to the Karmelo Anthony verdict, all the meltdowns associated. Number two, the Iran war stuff. Had some funny clips with that. Is it over? Is it not over? Deal or no deal? We had no idea. Another interesting thing I saw today is Mark Levin is pushing hard for the details of Trump's deal that he's trying to get to be released to the public, because the public has a right to know what terms we're negotiating on, what we're trying to get out of Iran, and the actual deal hasn't been released, and that we need input on whether or not this is a good deal that Trump is trying to get.
Wouldn't that be treason, though, if people leak information?
No, not leaking. He's talking about the government posting what they're trying to get out of Iran.
Yeah, but
and that they should be more open about it.
Wouldn't that inhibit our negotiating power if we put the deal out in public?
I don't know.
According to Mark Levin.
Yes, I think it would.
These people should be hanged for treason.
Also, according to Mark Levin, who cares if the public has input on what's going on with the war, right? You know, it's not important to let Trump do what he wants. Let him cook, baby. You know, it's just really hypocritical to think that the public and everyone should have a lot of input on how we end this war and zero input on it starting in the first place. And we're getting a lot of that
whether or not it
from
continues.
people. Yeah, or whether or not, like, if you want to stop this thing, we got to get this to Congress. We got to get this to the Senate. If you want to keep it going, that's on you. You can keep doing that.
Yeah.
But you better get the people's permission to stop this war. And that's where a lot of these people have gone. The winner, as I suspected, is going to be the Karmelo Anthony verdict meltdown.
You have to go through the rest.
Yeah, we didn't. We could have stopped.
Yeah,
right then. You know.
All right, y'all. Well, if you enjoyed today's episode, share it around. If you're on YouTube, please leave a comment, like, subscribe. We appreciate you there. Nate will answer your comments. That's one place he answers comments.
Actually, I've actually had people reach out on there before to get my attention.
So
it
now,
works.
if you want to get Nate's attention, you get it on YouTube. Okay, it no longer works anywhere else. Email, no chance. Text, no chance. Phone call, maybe. Probably not.
Please don't call me.
But YouTube,
please.
Nate will answer on YouTube, so reach out there.